What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Mystic Watch, and today we're gonna be doing a tier list. So, a while back, Nagato made a tier list on just an overall tier list for 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. I made one as well, but I never uploaded it or anything. I showed it to him what I thought, but I never did anything with it. So we're gonna be making a tier list today. Now, this is specifically what I'm going to What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a PvP tier list, then a PvE tier list, and then a general tier list. Oh, so it's gonna be 3 separate tier lists. Okay. Now this is gonna be using SSRs, just because I'm too lazy to import the pictures for SRs, and I stole this link off of Nagato. Yeah. So we're gonna be doing SSRs. To be fair, the only real, while we're here, we might as well take a look at the SR characters. So, SR characters, the best PvP SR character in the game is, where'd he go? Green Gill Thunder. And the reason for that is his passive is increase the defense related stat of all allies by 30% in PvP. You see him a lot on Valenti teams. That's really it, right? So besides that, here, let's... Hello? Besides that, you're going to see almost no one else being used in PvP that's an SR. With, like, sometimes you'll see, like, Green Elizabeth who can heal. I mean, sorry, Red Elizabeth who can heal, and Green Elizabeth who does a boatload of damage. But besides that, like, that's it. Like, you're not going to see these people in PvP. And that changes from time to time. It's just that the current meta is Gill Thunder, and maybe the next meta won't have any Gill Thunder at all. So currently, whenever this video is out, December 22nd, this is who SR wise is at the top. But majority of the game is SSRs, especially when it comes to PvP. So this is what we're gonna look at, and I will most likely not rank everyone. I'm just gonna go down tiers until I feel like it's gotten to a point where I've ranked enough people. So let's start at the top. God tier. Who is God tier in this game? Now, God tier, we're going to start off with this guy. Best character in the game, period. That's it. He is by far the best character at any given point in time. From the launch date up until now, there's never not been a reason to use Gother, and the only time people stopped using him was when Galen was in the meta. But Galen kind of gets shut down very quickly now, because he's really not beefy, and Escanor just blows him out of the water. So, this is what I'm going to do. So, God tier is going to be Gother and Escanor. Escanor, this one's a little bit more personal, like more opinionated. Like, Escanor is minimum here, but possibly God tier. And the reason for that is he just does too much damage, right? He can be put on literally any team and you'll always do fine. He is a big piece of CP, right? So he gives you massive amounts of stats and increases your overall CP a lot, which is something people don't really tend to consider. CP is a very important stat, simply because it determines who goes first and second, and going first is preferable 99% of the time, unless there's some certain scenarios where you're trying to build ultimate really fast and you have a really tanky team, and going second just helps you accomplish that. Escanor, regardless of who's on his team, will always be amazing and is always a threat because he can just one-shot anyone. That mostly just comes down to his raw, like, his moves don't do anything besides damage, right? That's it. He just does a lot of damage. And he can kill very easily blue and green units, and even, like, type disadvantage-wise, he can kill red units surprisingly easy enough. So, in terms of just raw damage, he is a huge carry, and I think he deserves to be in God tier. Now, when it comes to SS, I'm going to start with this duo right here. duo-wise, I think these guys are amazing. Like, in terms of, if they're both on the same team, they can be put up here. But the issue is that they are a pair that goes together. And one without the other means, like, if you take into account, like, them separately and as just individual units, I think they belong in S tier. But the fact that both of them exist and you run them at the same time makes, you know, the synergy between them immense. And usually the team that's being run is, like, that's the team being run, right? Escanor, Lilia, D-Melly. And it is a massively damaging team. But we're going to put them in SS simply for the fact that, let's say Lilia didn't exist, D-Melly is not that good. And if D-Melly didn't exist, Lilia would probably still be very good, but she wouldn't be SS. Simple as that. Now, we're also going to throw in SS King. King is a very, very, very good character who is constantly seen in multiple metas. But the problem is he kind of just comes in and out. He is getting nerfed. And the nerf is going to be a petrification nerf. This is going to apply to him and Helbrom. And what the nerf does is, right now when you get petrified, you can't, because you are petrified, you can't use any of those characters' moves, right? But what if you broke the petrification? You still can't use any of those characters' moves during the same turn because the game just doesn't let you. The game locks those cards for the whole turn regardless. So the change that's coming in is that units that are petrified can now still use their cards regardless of them being petrified or not. And the game will check, you know, is this unit petrified? The card won't work. Is this unit not petrified? The card will work. So if you're petrified and you use a card, you wasted a slot. But if you manage to break, you know, like heal, remove the petrification, and then use a card, it'll work. But regardless, I think he's SS tier. His ultimate just wipes the entire map every single time. And he heals to full very easily, and he, regardless, still has a petrify. So, because of that, I'm putting him up there. Now, I think that's all I'm going to put up there. Let's do... And I think this is how I want to do it. I think Valenti is only really good because Lilia D-Melly exists. If Lilia D-Melly exists, Valenti is a lot more... She's just worse, right? Because you would see a lot more red units. So I think Valenti is very conditional. She's meta-based, very good. Like you pretty much have to use her right now because Lilia exists. But if you're not versing a Lilia team, Valenti becomes just a lot weaker. Because of her effectiveness just goes down. She does not deal a lot of damage. She's just there because of her passive. And that's really it. Her moves are like, okay, you know, she has a defense down and an attack down. But, yeah. It's like her moves just tickle you. That's it. Helbrom is amazing. Helbrom could be up here, to be honest. Like, if I really wanted to, and I wanted to order them within the tiers, I could do this. The thing is, you will see Helbrom with King every time, but you won't always see King with Helbrom, because King can be used in multiple teams, whereas Helbrom is really only just used in conjunction with King and Gother, also known as Kingbrom. No, I think I'll do it like this. So I'm going to try ordering within the tiers. And I'm going to do it like this. Right, so we're actually going to have him go from left to right. So I don't think Helbrom is good enough to be here. But I think this is fine. Merlin is always just a really good unit. She, her passive, you usually see her in the back. Her passive gives the whole team 1 extra ultimate gauge, which is a big deal. She has a barrier. Barrier's not that good. Like, strength-wise, a level 1 barrier is pretty meaningless. The level 2, or the rank 2, or, excuse me. The rank 2 or the rank 3 are very good. But she's mostly there for utility purposes, right? She's not dealing a bunch of damage. Her ult deals massive damage. And the fact that she's a coin shop unit means you can max her ult very easily. But the main reason is barrier plus the fact that she can remove an ultimate gauge. And that alone is a very powerful tool, which is why Hellbrom is also up this high. But the reason why Hellbrom's higher is because individually I think he's a better unit. And I think I'll just leave Valenti here for now. Now we're kind of getting to the point where, like, if you're not running some combination of these units, you're probably going to lose. But we're gonna start going down. Okay. Let's see. Is there anyone else I want to include in here? Actually, I think I like this for now. I'll keep adjusting it if I see things moving around. I forgot about Hauser. Hauser is just constantly in and out. He's more out than he is in, and him paired with Lilia makes him very powerful because he has both double AoE, and then one of his moves applies penetration, so he increases his penetration by 3 times. Pair that with Lilia, he's doing a lot of damage. Also, another coin shop unit. He uses gold coins, so you can get his ultimate very easily to 6/6. Just another good unit up here, but he's seen in the meta less than everyone else. And because it's very blue dominant, he's not there. You will see him being run in the back every now and then, or as a 3rd unit instead of Escanor. Now let's take a look at here. Galland was a very, very powerful unit, but fell out of the meta pretty quickly. And that was mostly because of the introduction of Escanor. Escanor came in and could just pretty much one-shot Galland. There's nothing else to it. But Galland's commandment is very strong. Ranking up causes them to petrify. Gother is still god tier, so that single-handedly makes Galland good enough to be used. And regardless, whoever Galland's passive says, he randomly marks an enemy, and that marked enemy can only target Galland, and none of their status effects applies to Galland. So that is also a very powerful thing. Bon, because of the UR engravings, Bon started falling out just because he couldn't do enough damage. But with the UR engravings, he starts doing a lot more damage, and I think this is a good spot for him. This is not bad. You gotta realize that, like, I'm doing in terms of, like, these are the top of the units, right? And I'm pretty much not gonna rank half of these, because if we're getting to the point where any lower I get, everyone's gonna be garbage in terms of unit wise. Like, please don't use any of those units. That's kind of the point I'm getting to. But Bon is good enough still to be used. He can be used in conjunction with Lilia, or as a replacement to Lilia. You kind of suck their defense, and then you can use D-Melee as well. I know my friend Ryan, who's part of my guild, does this, and he got to whatever the highest rank in Geared is, using Bon on his team. Deldry. She was a free unit that was given out. You managed to get like 3 or 4 copies of her for free as well. Her big thing is her passive marks a unit in PvP, and that unit does not do damage whenever a move would target Deldry. This specifically, if it hits D-Melee or Lilia, massive, right? Because D-Melee's move just does 0 damage, and all of a sudden their team does nothing. If it hits Lilia, then she can't remove an ultimate gauge, and that is also very big. But yeah, I think her passive is absolutely busted. But because she's red, it's also RNG based, I'm going to put her down here. Now, let's start going into... This will most likely be like the final tier that I'm going to put people in. I'm gonna throw a couple of last pickings to put in here. And one or two more. Where is red? Okay. This will be my final, yeah. I'm gonna leave it at this. So I'm not gonna rank anyone else. This is it. Let's start with, well, let's rearrange people. At this point, like, B and C are not really going to be arranged from left to right. We're just getting to the point where these units are usable, but that's it. Like, you can do fine. Like, you know, you might be able to get to the gold or plat, whatever the hell, you know, in the middle tiers using these teams, but you're not gonna make it higher. Melee, OG Melee is really good in conjunction with Deldry, because Deldry can put a taunt passive onto Melee, and then Melee's full counter does insane amount of damage. This king is always, just like Sleeper, really good. He just does a lot of damage, and his passive gives him a bunch of crit damage. I mean, crit chance. Lilia has been falling out of flavor, but you still see her. Just like, to be honest, I could put Lilia up here. I think I'll do that. Gloxinia is used on full fairy teams. Not really used anywhere else. This Elizabeth is a cheese unit. You keep her at level 1 while having her passive enabled. So she just dies immediately, gives full health to the other 2 units on our team, and gives them 2 ultimate gauge. So it's more of a cheese team. Guild Thunder keeps on going in and out. He just has a very strong taunt, but he got nerfed very heavily when taunts got hit. Taunts used to be able to, when a unit taunted, the opponent could not choose who their targets were, and that was very broken, because all your moves would, if you broke the taunt, the remaining moves would just hit random people, and you couldn't choose. But even then, I think he's still a pretty good unit. And down here, I've seen a couple of mon speeds. Passes pretty good, not being able to gain ultimate gauge. This Gother comes in and out. His blackout blocks skills. A lot of skills from being used. Bond does a bunch of damage, just not in favor because of red. And what's her name? Starts with an E. Elaine. Elaine just, yeah, part of a full fairy team. That's really it. You know, she's kind of just like the last member you throw in. On her own, not that good. And that's it. Everyone else down here will borderline never be used in PvP. Besides him, who I forgot. He's usually used as a 4th unit. Oh, I forgot her as well. There you go. AoE, a lot of damage, and coin units so you can farm her ult. Also free to play. Besides that, am I missing anyone? Not really. If I miss someone, I miss someone. But for the most part, this is it. Like, if you're not using the units, like, you really don't want to be using B and C. You want to be using from God to A, and ideally you want to be using from God to S. Like a combination of these units. And that's it. Like, you don't want to be using anyone else. Otherwise, it's just going to be not good for you. Like, these are ideal teams for top, like, you're trying to climb. And that's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This is the PvP tier list. Shout out to Nagato for setting up the template for me. And yeah, I'll be making one for PvE, and I'll be making an overall one for, you know, globals coming out. People want to know who, you know, who to go for, what units are the best units, things like that. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.